if you've come across people who are wanting to be spiritual entrepreneurs, but are not really ready to do the work, and maybe they just see it as an easy way to make money or to be famous or something like that.
I don't ever see an easy way to make money or be famous as the desire. Having a power or a power that gives you value or worth, that definitely. I've seen many people who want to be spiritual guides for people because they want to have power. That's on one level really good. When I can share information with somebody that they're more connected to themselves and feel more clear and empowered in their life, it's the greatest feeling. The number of times I leave my sessions and I go to my wife and I'm just like, I love what I do. It's wonderful. So I can understand the desire for that power. But part of that is I want to be special. I want to be unique. I want to be valuable in a way that you can't take that value away. Like there's almost like a sustainability part to it. I've got something that you don't have. So I really work on clamping the special, but I do see people that want special.
But I guess what you're also saying is that you're saying that we all have it and we can all harness it. So I think that makes it a bit different. If someone wants to feel special, it's precisely because they're saying it's a gift and I have it and you don't. And I have information, you don't. And that's also kind of, I'm not saying every person who is that way is a charlatan, but that's also how we encounter charlatans, people that are, well, actually they can't explain. So you can explain. And you've previously even talked to me about the process you went through and how you doubted your own intuition when you first started doing it. So I want to talk to you about charlatans. And I think that as people are becoming more new agey and discovering spirituality or dipping a toe in there, you see a lot of courses being offered around the world. Actually, it's a huge thing. Like people are offering meditation courses and different kinds of therapies. And I'm always curious to know, because it's not like a medical certificate where you go to a university, you go to like a big name university and you know that there's tons of work behind it. And it's just like a really solid institution that has a lot to lose if they falsely give you a certificate. So because there's none of that, how do you know that the person you're going to is really indeed trustworthy and does indeed have a gift?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, that's a challenging one. Charlatans to me serve two purposes. One purpose is, how much are you giving your power away to somebody? What is your tendency? If you have an attraction for somebody to give you answers, to rescue you, to solve all your problems, you will definitely more prey to a charlatan. You're more prey to people with false information. If you trust in your ability to discern, if you believe that you are supported in this world in a way that's meant to empower your ability to guide yourself in your life, you'll be much more immune to the charlatan. So how do you know if you're a charlatan? First of all, look at your motives. Look at your motives. Are you wanting somebody to rescue you? Are you wanting somebody to give you your answers? If that's true, first of all, I'm not saying, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing that. I don't want to shame you in that. I've wanted answers in my life. I just know that when I want answers, what I'm saying is I don't trust myself. And so can you make, I want to trust myself, be the primary guidance system in you?
And you're saying that if you can trust yourself, then you can discern that very quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot easier to tell. And the other part too, to me, charlatans need this. They need there to be a hierarchy. And so do you feel that? Do they speak to you as an equal? Are they telling you what to do? Do they support you to discover for yourself what feels true? Like if there's no need for this, if you're just two human beings meeting each other and one might be more evolved in some ways, it will feel like that. So that's a part of trusting yourself. Good charlatans will say all the right things you want to hear, but that's likely if you can feel that longing. And that's the tragic part in this, is that there's a predatory part to charlatans. They are preying on people who have a genuine need. And in that, I feel compassion because that's harder to tell because there's a part that's empty that you're trying to fill.
What's interesting is that like in the series Apple Cider Vinegar, that series disturbed me so much, and it made me question so many things. And what's really sad is that I think that there is truth to all the spirituality, but what's really sad about that series is that I feel like a lot of people were becoming more open, and suddenly they've now become very closed. A lot of people have become very closed to any of this because of what they saw on Apple Cider Vinegar. But I feel like it's also a bit unfair because how many other professions that we know have there been scary stories or stories of predatory behavior? Like if you look at even doctors taking out organs that they don't need to take out. We saw that testimonial at Dr. Joe's retreat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? And then I want to talk about that as well. Yeah, we should talk about Dr. Joe. But we've seen that, and it's not like, and nobody's going like, oh well, some people are, but most people are not like, oh, the whole of the medical profession is a scam. They're just saying, well, that doctor did a bad thing. And I guess it's similar with Apple Cider Vinegar. It's like, that lady did a bad thing. But I suppose what's difficult in that is that similarly, there are no, at least if a doctor does a bad thing, you can go to the board of the medical board and say like, this doctor did this thing. And then the whole world knows that this doctor is barred from practicing anymore. But there isn't such a board for people that are in the spiritual arts. So I think that's a challenge, but maybe not today, but maybe someday there will be.
That would be my hope. I mean, it's part of what I love about it. I call it the Wild West because it's not regulated. That I get to be creative and explore and really, I mean, I have such a longing to be in service in a positive way that, I'm not saying I'm perfect, but generally I trust my motives to serve other people. And so I love the entrepreneurial opportunity in doing this work because I'm discovering things like I would love to see in psychotherapy, intuitive counsel become a thing because some psychotherapies are non-directive. They just say like, how are you feeling? What do you want to work on? Tell me more. And all the psychotherapist does is help that person find answers. There's some psychotherapies that really work to analyze you and help you to understand. Intuitive counsel, you get the information without ahead of time. You get to discern for yourself what it means. And it creates a really interesting relationship. Like what got me into medical intuition is you mentioned banging your head against the wall. I got a huge bump on my head at one point in time. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? I've got this massive bump sticking out through my hairline. And I was quite upset. So I called a medical intuitive. I booked a session. And right off the bat, she got on the call. She said, you're part of a community or family. You're trying to be seen, heard, and understood. Nothing you're doing is making any difference. It's like you're banging your head against the wall. And I said, oh, is that why I have a bump in my head? And she's like, yeah. And one of the communities that I was involved in, I was supporting, they didn't care about me. And I knew that, but I didn't want to admit it. It was too threatening. I didn't want to admit it to myself. And so when somebody who didn't know me, didn't know anything about me, told me that thing, I was like, oh man, I got to make change. And I made massive change. My life was a whirlwind for a couple of years, and I'm so grateful. The bump was a call to massive change in my life. I bought my business partner out, took over the business that I didn't know how I was going to even run. It was a very transformative process, and having somebody share that information for me was deeply motivating. So I think there's something potent in that. And if it could become a regulated profession, while I'm wary of regulation, I'm also excited about academic rigor, like societal weight. Like I'm not surprised. It's funny. I was listening to a podcast yesterday talking about, there's another Netflix series about a 13-year-old who kills somebody. I don't even know what it's called. Adolescence. And what this podcast was saying is they feel like this show was put out there to make people afraid of each other more than to tell a story. And it's kind of the same thing with Apple Cider Vinegar, like to make people afraid. Like I only watched the first episode. I couldn't watch anymore. And the main protagonist, who's the charlatan, yeah, what a manipulative, coercive, unself-aware narcissist. And I've met very few of those through my journey. That is not representative of the humans I've met on my way. I've met some beautiful, lovely human beings.
Yeah, me too. Me too, actually. But I think that with charlatans, I think that there will always be clues. And I think it's a good idea to spend time with someone before you do anything with them. You know, if possible, like try to have like a call or something just to before you know like commit to someone and totally put your trust in them. I think it's wise to spend some time with someone because your body will tell you whether if something's off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the medical intuitive that I went to go see, one of the things that she did, which I'd like to put a money back guarantee on my sessions, because if it doesn't resonate, I don't want your money. You know, I do not want that. Like that's okay. And what she did is she said, you banging your head against the wall. I'm like, yeah. She goes, does that resonate? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, do you want to keep going or I can give you your full money back right now? Like at 5 minutes, she said, do you want to keep going or I'll give you your full money back right now? Like she kind of gave you that tune in time to go, does this resonate? And when I spoke to her about it later, she's like, I don't want to deal with somebody who doesn't want what I have to share or doubts my information. This is a very skilled human being and
Yeah.
they built that into their business model.
Thanks for listening today. I hope you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Subscribing helps a new podcast like ours immensely. And until next time, don't be a sheep, keep questioning, stay curious, and never stop exploring the extraordinary.